Hey y'all, today I want to show you some information about databases. Databases are great tools for finding credible sources. Um, there's so much information on the internet, you want to find stuff that you can trust, and that's good. And especially for those of you going on to college, whether it's ACC, 2-year program, or a 4-year school, or some combination of the two. Databases are a great way to have access to a lot of information. A lot of pretty much any university or college, I think, tends to have databases through their libraries. And also public libraries in North Carolina have access to a lot of wonderful databases as well. So first thing I want to show you is how to find databases that are available to us at Southern Alamance High School. So we'll go to the Media Center homepage. So I'm going to go to Departments and then Media Center from the Southern homepage. And then I'm going to click on Catalog and Research. That is where we'll find database links. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you find NC Wiseowl, SAHS, Culturegrams, and the Occupational Outlook Handbook. These are for useful databases or collections of databases. Okay, so I'm mainly going to talk about NC Wiseowl and SAHS in this video. So NC Wiseowl links you to multiple databases at a variety of levels and on a wide range of topics. Yes, everything from academic journals, newspaper articles, to small engine repair manuals. You may have used it in elementary school and then not used it a lot since then, but it has useful things for everybody. Teachers, educators, as well as students. You can find lists of all the databases if you want to by clicking on here, and then you can look at the overview of EBSCO resources, which comes up with a huge long list of long PDF full of interesting articles or databases. And then if you look at the GALE resources, you will also find that it is a huge long list of interesting things. And so GALE and EBSCO each have a power search, and we'll look at each of them a little bit separately. EBSCO's, in theory, will search through all of our databases on NC Wiseowl, so we're going to try that. So the first thing I'm going to look up is immigration. And we see that we get around 778,727 results. And we can make it even broader if we want to by applying equivalent subjects. We don't need to do that right now. We can make it narrower by limiting it to peer-reviewed articles. In the context of academic journals, peer-reviewed means that any article that they publish will have been reviewed by experts in the field. So it's not peers in terms of friends, but it's peers in terms of equally advanced people in the topic as the author, to make sure that the author really is legitimate and that the research is strong and high quality. So we're going to check peer reviewed to bring it down a little bit. And so indeed, that brought it down tremendously. And we could also, only see magazine articles if we want to see fewer things. And here are some of the different things we can filter by. You might want to choose to only see things in English. I'm also going to choose, well, let me show you something else. Okay, so I want to show you, say I want to know more than just immigration. I want to know information about immigration and mental illness. So I'm going to do an advanced search, and I'm going to choose multiple keywords. I'm going to choose, I might choose subject terms instead of keywords, actually. I'm going to do subject theme terms. I'm going to do another subject term of mental health. I was thinking, but it's really interesting because this gives you, the thesaurus tells you various things that you could choose to pick. And so we'll pick this one. Why not? It also shows you some journals you might choose. And then here you can apply those other filters as well. So you can say you want to search within the full text of the articles, apply equivalent subjects. You can say, yes, I want it to be peer-reviewed article. I want to know that this is high-quality research. And you can say, I want research that was done in the last 15 years, maybe. I don't know. So we'll say 2005 through April 2020. So we'll click search. And so then we have some really interesting results. I'm excited about this. So the next thing I want to do is click on one of these articles. And so I'm going to pick this one just because there are a lot of different options for me here. First thing I'm going to do is look at it as an HTML full text file. So we're going to log in for full access. Well, I'm happy to tell you the password. I'm not going to put it in this video, so I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, I'm back. So I am in the article now, in the HTML version of the article. And you'll see you can listen to the article, you can choose your accent, you can jump to different parts of the article, and it has bolded the search terms that I entered. Some other things you'll note is you can print, you can add it to your Google Classroom, you can add it to your Google Drive. The folders thing, I won't worry about that right yet. But this is very exciting. You can save it down to your computer or device. You can cite the article. And that is particularly fun because you can click on cite and it will show you the citation formats, probably more than you will ever need to use at once. But Chicago Turabian, Chicago Humanities is usually in here. And then MLA, most up-to-date version of MLA. So that's pretty exciting. You can copy and paste that wherever you want, or you can export your citation. The other thing that's exciting is that, so right now I'm in the HTML full text. I could also have this article translated if I wanted to read it in a different language. So I was more comfortable in Spanish. That is generally an option. I do not see it at the moment. Oh, here it is, English to Espanol. Okay, so I could translate the article. It may not do a perfect job, but it'll usually do a pretty decent approximation. And you might want to try to do some kind of combination of both, looking back and forth if English is not your best language. Or if this language was not originally in English, say it started in Spanish, you might want to do it the other way. Okay, you can also view the full text of the PDF. And that way, if there were any pictures or yeah, you just see the pretty formatting. You get the color, you get images, the tables and layout is a little bit fancier, but you can't listen. It doesn't read it out loud, I don't believe. You can still cite it by using this little box on the right here. And that is what I want to show you about EBSCO right now. I also want to show you an example of a GALE database. So if we go to, and OneFile General and Academic OneFile are good choices. So I'm going to choose Academic OneFile for GALE, and we can do a similar search. Okay, I'm going to pause the video to put in my password again. So here I am in GALE. You can see that I can browse topics. I can do highlighting and notes here, getting some links, and they give me some options that might help me. I can also sign into Google Classroom, and there's some connectivity there, or just sign in with Google. So it makes it easier to save documents to my Google Drive. So right now I'm going to do the same search. The same initial search, immigration. And we see, again, we get a lot of articles. These are all academic journals. We can say that we want them to be peer reviewed and that we only want full text documents. And then if we want to do the advanced search, we can do that again, but you got the idea behind that, I think. So we're not going to worry about it. We'll do immigration, and then we'll do mental health and search. And so we see we have some different options here. So here's just an interesting looking article about time of SAHS. And so now that we can see we have translate options again, we can change the font size, we can listen to the article again. And then if there's something that we want to highlight or make a note for ourselves, so we can say, okay, they often, here are the strategies they adopted for coping with stress. So we'll say the use of Thai cultural practices. I can put a highlight there and make it yellow. Buddhist cognitive thinking. I can make that one yellow too, since they're both coping strategies. But I could color code it, and this might be an intervention, interpreter, or systems navigator. So I could highlight that one too, make it a different color, make a note that says, useful intervention. Okay. So you see how that works a little bit. But it can be really great, because if there's a quote you want to use from your article, you can go ahead and highlight that that quote. So say you want to say, you think that this is a really useful, or maybe you like the second sentence. Culturative stress can be intense and prolonged, which can increase the risk of mental health problems, including depression and anxiety. However, sufficient coping can reduce the risk. And so I can click on that, I can highlight it, I can make it blue, and I can write a note. And I just have to be sure to save my note when I'm done with it. So, quote or paper. I don't know what you want to say. So we'll go ahead and hit save. Another thing, say you come across a word that you're not familiar with, you can but say we weren't sure what a locale was. We can double click on it, click on define, and it tells us what it means, which is kind of cool. So again, we have the option to cite the article right here, and we can put that citation into Google Drive if we want, which is pretty exciting, or we can just copy the selection, and we can choose MLA APA Chicago. Yay. Another thing we can do is look at our highlights and notes, and so it'll pull them all up, and we can view them all. And then from here, you can do send to, and then that will send it to Google Drive, and it's probably going to ask me. Okay, so then it'll create a GALE folder in Google Drive. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, which I think is really exciting with the GALE databases, is the topic finder, which is, you'll see over here on the right. So what it will do is it'll look at your search options and visualize related data. So it looks at where my topics of immigration and mental health terms come into play. And so I might be more interested in mental well-being. I might want to see how this affects children or refugees, or I might be, curious about a U.S. context or American immigrants. So I have lots of different options. So I'm gonna, and the bigger the bubble is, the more articles there are about it. So say I'm interested in kids. I can see here that there are kind of different things. So I could look at immigration centers and detention if I wanted to. I could look at asylum seekers, or I could just say there aren't that many articles. There's 16. Maybe I just want to scroll through them. So they pull up the results there. So that's kind of cool. And so then if I want to read the article, I can just click on it. So I can look at custody of children in mixed status families, or the effects of immigration and detention on the health of children and families in the UK. So there are a lot of and it takes me right to the article, which is great. Okay, hopefully that is enough to get you going with, again, you can save it to Drive, save it to Microsoft Cloud, email it to yourself, download it to your device. Okay, what else do I want to show you? And you can always cite it by clicking on the little arrow tools. You can also print it. Okay, next thing I want to show you is the SAHS database. I'm going to click on here. I'm going to pause it right now because it's going to pull in my password and information when I click on it, and I want to tell you that in person. So let me pause it. Okay, so this is the SIRS. I think it used to stand for Student Issues Research something. Anyway, you can log in with Google if you want to connect it to your Google account. So there are a ton of trending topics right now, anywhere from, and you can choose all kinds of different issues. They've got a ton of them. So you can look at the trending things, or you can just look at everything. So, and I think, yeah, so there are a lot of kind of hot topics ranging from virtual classrooms, homework epidemics, social media, anyway, that sort of stuff. And these really do a nice job of giving you a nuanced view of kind of controversial topics. And so if you've ever had to write a persuasive essay or something like that, or it's just something where you have to think about multiple sides of an issue. This does a nice nuanced job of talking about some of these things. So let's look and see what it says about, let's just check out the one on virtual classrooms, a subject near and dear to my heart these days. And I will also say that they keep updating these databases over time. So again, you can cite the content, you can save it to your cloud. With the citation, again, you can choose your citation style from the dropdown. The Turabian is the Chicago style. And MLA is what most teachers use. History, social studies will use Chicago sometimes. So they give you some background information. You can read the full subject talking about online classes. And so here the question is, and so then they give you like an essential question that they break down their view of the thing is, are online classes as beneficial as face-to-face instruction in a traditional classroom? So they don't just say, are they good? Are they bad? It's a little more nuanced. So viewpoint one is online classes provide students with a variety of experiences not found in traditional classrooms. And then you see 3 articles underneath that, which back up viewpoint one. Then viewpoint two, online learning cannot replace the experience of real-time instruction in a traditional classroom. And we see 3 articles backing that up. What's lost in the rush to online learning, schools aren't passing the online learning test, and then, raising concern for educators. So, and then you can find more sources. So if we click on this link, it's going to bring up all kinds of other contemporary articles. This one's April 15th, 2020. That's about 12 days before this video was filmed. So it's pretty up to date. But these are curated articles, and you can also choose by magazines, newspapers, scholarly journals, other sources. And you can also choose just primary sources or limit it to the last month. So you get a lot of cool options. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my previous page, because if we keep reading down, there's some cool stuff. So they have critical questions. What are the advantages of virtual classrooms, disadvantages of virtual classrooms? Would you like to take an online class? Why or why not? So these questions are just some things that you might want to consider centering your research around, or your paper around. And here's the cartoon. They usually have a cartoon. You don't have to worry about my future anymore. I just downloaded an entire college education. And then they have a timeline. I love the timelines. I love the timelines. I got to show you my hands. I'm so excited that are on this program. So this one starts in the 1980s and then just takes you through 2002. And then if we click on the full timeline, and again, you can listen to it. It tells you Lexile level. It's pretty exciting. Anyway, you can go all the way down to 2020, April, when at least 55 million students are at home because of schools closing due to the coronavirus pandemic, leaving educators to rethink their approaches to virtual education. So yeah, and then we had 2017 where virtual schools were delivering relatively poor performance and low graduation rates compared with public schools overall. So sorry if we're not giving you everything we would like to give you in terms of an education right now. But anyway, so I thought that, so we can go back again, but again, you can save this. You can cite the timeline if you want to. Here's the MLA version. And you can export it to EasyBib, the citation. You can save it to your Google Drive, the whole timeline or the article. And if we go back, Once again, did I click it? Okay. Yeah, you can see like related research topics, which might be school choice, digital media, college education, and homeschooling. So that is my not so brief introduction to databases. I hope you found it useful, and I can't wait to see you in person. Hopefully that day will come. Bye.